welcome back to the Powerlifting Podcast. I'm your host, Solana Lewis. And so it's finally here, a podcast with Kris D and special guest Angelo Fortino. They joined me on the podcast talking about SBD Raleigh. They both competed. I got to go watch it live. Really good episode. This was supposed to be a live episode. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, we had to re-record it, so it's not live, but it's still a great episode. So if it's not your first time here, you must like us somewhat, which means you can go ahead and leave us a 5-star review and a rating on either Spotify or on Apple. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. Okay, we're going to try it again. Take 2 and go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Powerlifting Podcast. I am here not live, but on Zoom with Angelo and Kris. How are y'all today?
Doing very well.
Okay.
This was supposed to be a live podcast, but I messed up the audio, so we are doing it again. So I apologize for making you guys come on here a second time and talk about the same exact thing that we did a week ago.
Yeah. That live in-person podcast was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you guys will never see how fun it was, but it was a lot of fun.
I can show them how fun it was. We laughed, we smiled.
You have video.
The visual of it was very fun.
I will say that I was starting to fall asleep, which y'all can tell. I was like, oh my God. I was just surviving. Yeah. Like I had fun, but I was surviving.
Well, it's pretty late, right? Because it was almost 10 by the time we were done, 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think it started like 8:30-ish, and we were in the safest part of town, so I had no anxiety whatsoever while we were recording. It was great.
Yeah, that was a very, very safe place. My Uber driver didn't want me to she's like, I'm not gonna leave until I see you walk inside. And I was like, why? She's like, this is not a safe neighborhood. I was like, great, Solana.
I did not book the Airbnb. I will not out who did, but I did not book it. And then that person then could not make it to the meet. So,
and to give them credit though, it was a very nice Airbnb.
The inside was great, yeah.
Inside was fantastic. I mean, when me and Solana arrived, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a couple of guys here. Do they live here? Or they were like, I don't know. Did they book it? I don't know. I don't know these gentlemen. And then, yeah, that was a little bit alarming. Then I looked around, I saw my surroundings, like, oh, this is not a great area. How many women were there? 4?
What?
4 were staying at you at once?
Wait, what?
How many women were in the Airbnb at once? 4?
Oh, 4.
All right.
Yeah.
Safe.
Listen, we went with my friend Mel, and she had the gun, and she had it, and she was like, "You're gonna bring it in, right?" She's like, "Yeah." And so I kind of thought she was joking. I'm like, maybe she'll leave it in her bag. And I go to say goodnight, and the gun is right next to her bed. Like she's ready to just grab it. She went to sleep. It was right next to the bed on the floor. So she can just
on the floor?
On the
floor. She can get up and just slip on it and then just set
She's not going to slip on it. She's not. No. Wait, I have a feeling she does it often. So
our girl Mel
on the floor.
No.
I'm going to the bed at least, so you don't. I will. If I had just a gun on the floor, I will definitely just be so tired I'd get up, or like I'm late for work or something. I just get up really quick, trip on my gun, shoot myself in the leg. Now I'm late and have a bullet wound. Those are all things that can happen.
Yeah. I hope she's okay. She listens to every episode. I really hope it's okay that I mentioned. I mean, it's for her job. Anyways, she was I don't want to get it wrong because it wasn't police. It was like above that sheriff. I think she was a sheriff for like a very long time. So if I'm wrong, Mel, I'm sorry. I can't remember the position. I heard the whole story about it though.
Yeah, I would trust her then. Myself, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would screw that up immediately.
Of course. I mean, I'm just clumsy in general. Like, forget slipping, getting out of the bed. I'm gonna like look at it, forget it's there immediately, and then step on it, getting in the bed. Like, just.
I would mistake it for my alarm.
Alarm.
Yeah, just start hitting it and stuff.
Oh my God. Okay, so anywho, we all just got back home from SBD Raleigh. And it's cool because both of you guys competed and I got to watch your front row. So we got a little bit of a different perspective here. But Kris, it was your first meet back in 2 years. So you got to tell us like how it felt being back on the platform.
I mean, once it started, I was fine. I think leading up to it, I was a little nervous. Just because
But weren't you fully prepared with all your stuff?
So Solana let me borrow her shoes because I forgot mine. Fortunately, we are the same size, I've learned. So that worked out. So thank
Real
you
quick,
for that.
Can you just remind us what's the book we just made and how it's about being fully prepared on meet day? That book we made, what's it called?
That's a good plug for it.
The powerlifting guide, the complete guide on how to compete in your first powerlifting meet. And it does have all the equipment. It doesn't tell you what to do if you forget your equipment, but
should we add that in? Like, and if you forget everything we just said,
if you forget, just ask your friends or just cry. Because that's what I was gonna do. Yeah. Actually, I did go to the oh my gosh, my dog. The store try and find a pair of shoes because they don't apparently have deadlift shoes that you can just walk into like a Foot Locker and buy. So I did find a pair of flats that I've trained in the past. So if it came down to it, I would have lifted in some Vans or something, but it worked out that Solana was here and I got to wear her shoes. So, and I did have my stuff stolen like 2 days before. So that was also fun. And then Pete brought me some extra SBD knee sleeves and wrist wraps. I think that's all I forgot though. Well, the only thing I forgot was my sneakers, and then the rest were stolen.
Okay.
A great combination.
I was about to say, like, that's all I forgot. It's like you just mentioned pictures of your.
No, well, it was stolen. So that was the start of like, oh, well, this is going well. And then leading into the meet the day of, I was really cutting it close on body weight. And I guess at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because the meet was more fun than anything. But I kind of wanted to make weight just because I would have had to do another meet as a 69 to compete at nationals. So it would have been nice just to do this meet to qualify and not have to worry about doing another meet. So as I weighed in, it was like 69.05. And then I'm like trying to hold my breath. And so finally I got it at right at 69 and I had to stand still. And I was like, just fucking write it down. If I move, it's gonna go up again. And then we got it. And then after that, and then, you know, I got some Pedialyte and some food in me, and then I was fine. But it went well, other than that.
Yeah, can I ask you, what was your weight before you started your cut?
Before I started cutting was 71 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you like cut into the meat, or you're just like kind of?
I didn't really cut into the meat. I mean, I was more cognizant of what I was eating. And then I figured I would just do a gut cut. So when I got to Raleigh, I think I was 155 and a half, 150, let's say 155. So it was like 3 pounds, but I just kind of like cut it down to the wire, you know? So the morning of I was cutting it pretty close. And then my scale was off. So before I weighed in, it said on my scale, I was 68.7. So I was like, oh, sweet, cool.
There you go.
Great. And then I go to weigh in on the comp scale, and then it said I was 69.5. And I had compared the two, but because my scale is not a calibrated one, it like kind of can, you know, like you step on it once and it gives you one weight, and you step on it again, it gives you something else.
And you're like, what are we doing here?
But yeah, so I left the scale there. I was like, I'm not even taking this home with me because it's obvious.
You know?
So I left my scale at the hotel because yeah, it said I was 68.7. So I was sweet, cool, walked in to weigh in, and then I was over. And then I had a little freak out moment, went upstairs, took a hot bath, and then went back downstairs. I was like spinning a little bit in a bottle, and I made weight. It's fine.
And this is exactly why it's great to have a meet at a hotel where you can book your
Yeah.
room there.
Where
Because
I
that
went
would,
upstairs.
if not, you were screwed. Like you couldn't spit like 0.6 kilos. Like,
No, no. I don't
You
even,
forgot
yeah.
your belt too in your room, right?
What's that?
You got your belt in your room, right?
Oh, I did that too.
Yeah.
that's not as bad.
I remember, I
know.
think seeing you after, or I don't know, I think you weighed in first. Yeah, you would have to weigh in first. And you're like, have you seen a belt like lying around here? I'm like, no. And it's like, oh God. I was like, and then you're kind of panicking, and it's like,
I
oh,
did
oh,
have a
it's in my room.
mini.
It's okay. Everything's fine. It's in my room.
Yeah. Once everything was situated, I
That
waited and
leads,
found everything.
again, you were like
Cool.
3/4 off of like the things that you needed for competing. You did very good though.
Mhm.
PR
I did
your total, right?
probably 2.5 kilos, but
Hit
that
the
was
PR
my
total.
But
goal.
that's still
You don't have to
big.
specify that.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Do
only,
your layoff and PRing 2.5 kilos is good.
yeah. And I think I kind of, like lowballed my attempts because my thirds were not, they were not RPE 10, I definitely, I mean, my, my bench
Your
was.
your bench second was RPE 10. But the rest, seriously though, I think you had like maybe definitely 5, maybe 7 that I got grindy on your squat. And then dead you had like at least like same thing, like at least 5, maybe 7 if you had to push it. So I was like, oh, like in my mind, I assumed you're gonna go in and like maybe be 10 kilos under. Like I didn't expect you to be like back to full strength at all for this meet.
Either did I, actually. So I think for this goal, I just wanted to I wanted to PR my total, and that's what I did. But after this meet, I think it was a confidence booster because I've had bad meets that have really fucked me up mentally. So this was kind of like a good meet. And I even actually talked to my coach today, and he was just like, what went well? What do you think that we need to improve on? And one of the things is I think I want to increase my squat volume, and not by squatting more, but adding in some more belt squats because I can handle a lot of volume. I have to be careful with low bar squatting because of my glute. But for whatever reason, belt squats don't irritate my glute, so I can get away with doing more. And I think that'll really help my squat. And then I said I want to be more aggressive with my attempts. Like my goal for nationals is I want to win, and obviously I have a lot of room for improvement, but I think between now and nationals, which is in about 8 months, I think it's doable, especially based off of the numbers that I've hit. And that was the first meet that I had zero pain. I've never competed and not had zero glute pain. So I didn't pee on the platform, which
But
was
that
was nice. I didn't really shift. My positioning felt really good in squats. So
that's such shit. Oh my god.
I squatted yesterday.
I'm
No
like,
pain.
those are two good things, I guess.
What's that?
If I can accomplish both of those at a meet, that's a success.
We won.
So yeah, I think if I can just keep the momentum going and just stay pain-free, I think that my limiting factor has not been strength, it's just been the pain. So I've been squatting the load that I could tolerate, not the load that I could handle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think now that my pain is not a limiting factor, I think that I'll be able to really push my squat going forward. So
Yay.
all I got. Oh, my sister sent me a video of like a powerlifting meet, and guess who it was?
Not me. I don't know who.
It was Angelo's deadlift.
Oh, come on. Seriously,
I'm
obviously.
sorry. I'm sorry. And that's a great segue. So, Angelo, your meet. We'll get to your deadlift in a second. But it was your first meet underneath John Song being your coach. So tell us about like your prep, because I saw you PRing during prep, and I know that like your last few preps haven't been like quite that good. So that's like a big change.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Kristen, like it was a prep where I really wasn't under a whole lot of pain. I felt comfortable the entire time, and it was a smooth prep. And that hasn't happened probably since I think prep for I want to say Vegas, and even that like there were some growing pains, and like last 4 weeks we had a nice groove. So it's been a while to have a prep where things were just that smooth, and there and also similar to your squat, Kristen, like there was just a pain tolerant squat that I could hit, and that was about it. And yeah, it's going to limit your numbers. So under John, a successful first meet put at 15, 16 or something kilos on my total. On meet day itself too, like no pain. And until I flat back on the platform, that was the most painful part of the. It wasn't just setting up or anything like it would on squat or when I would complete my squat and rack. That's when all the pain would kind of come in through mid back when I used to have that. It was like, I'm going to be fine during the squat, but once I rack it, it's going to take me about 15 seconds to get out under the bar and then just grimace in pain the entire time. And it would hurt to breathe for like 30 seconds. Then it slowly would get better. This was a good meet aside from me almost killing myself with a 716 opener.
Like, it was so incredible because like you just fell, and then I watched everybody sprint over to you, and then I was like, did he break his legs? Like unlike Natalie, I'm a good friend, because I didn't laugh until you started to get up, because I really was like, the bars on his quads, I think he broke his legs. I think he's gonna drag his body off the platform and like be done and not finish the meet.
Yeah, I was talking about this. Yesterday, because I posted the video yesterday. I have a sense of humor about it. I don't take myself very seriously. But I posted it yesterday, got some DMs. If I broke my legs, do you think the meet would have continued?
See, it would have,
If
but it
if
would
I
have been
broke
heavily
both my
delayed.
legs and they had to carry me off the platform, that's how I would know who my real friends were.
They
And
wouldn't carry you off.
and then after that, Joe Bornstein just like, all right, well, fuck that loser. let's get on. Let's get on with the meat here. I got an 865 total. I got to hit. Yeah, I would just like wonder what would have happened if I actually broke both my legs.
I think it would have been like that nationals where that lady broke her tibia deadlifting. Like they literally put the banner over her, and just like that platform was out of service until the ambulance came. Like just
Oh God, I'm just thinking about that and how scared my mom would have been if they like put like a banner over. It's like it looks like a body bag, so it's like, all right, well, it is. They're
Like,
getting this person
something
out of here.
happened.
And then my mom would have been freaking out. Yeah, like, and my family watching at home would have been freaking out. Apparently, yeah, people were like legit. Matt Holden was legitimately scared because he thought I hit my head and I was like convulsing on the platform, but I was like, no, I was shaking because I was just. That was the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life. Gotta be the most embarrassed I've ever been in my life. That and when I ripped my pants teaching.
you ripped your pants teaching?
Yeah. So I was embarrassed, but nobody noticed. But I was embarrassed because I thought people noticed. And yeah, so I like bent over to pick up something, and then I could hear a rip. And then I got up super quick, and then I looked around, and they couldn't tell. Like they were doing like independent work, the kids. And then I just like walked backwards into like the chalkboard or the dry erase board. There's no chalkboards anymore because it's not 1987. And I just like posted up by the chalkboard the entire time. Or I keep on saying that, dry erase board, and just didn't move. I just like the entire class like asking for help. I'm like, bring it over here. Like, Like, oh, I'm not gonna move this. Like, and they're like, okay. So I'm just like, oh, looks good, whatever. And I was just like sitting there, arms crossed the entire time, like. So then, like at passing period, I look down, like, okay, it's not bad. Like you can't really see it, but I immediately was like, oh, okay, my pants are ripped completely in half, and so yeah, that was more embarrassing though, the deadlifting thing, because thousands of people saw it, so that was cool,
There were
and
a lot of people on the
I
live stream.
couldn't hide from that.
You cannot.
Couldn't like
Every
play it off
angle.
like it was cool.
I mean,
Every angle,
watching
yeah.
it looked cool. And maybe
No, it didn't. You're a liar. It did
I
not
have a
look
different
cool.
perspective
What are
on
you
it
talking
because
about?
I saw him after. I knew he was okay, so I didn't see when it happened. Like I
Okay.
knew that it was fine, right? So I just see him lock it out, and I'm like, sweet, and then like he just keeps going, and so but it looked like a sweet fail. Like I was like sick, like if you're gonna fail, you want it to like look cool. I'm like, that's a cool way to go.
So
At
we
least
talked
you like,
about this
got it
too.
up. Like
Yeah,
if
I
you're
guess it could have been. Yeah,
like
it could have been a lot worse.
yeah, it was a cool
I
looking
just
fail.
every time I look at it, the funny thing is just my feet. I just because it like seems like I'm going into the dark and you just see my feet like up. Kind of that makes me laugh the most out of that when I like see the videos back. And of course, the memes have been good. Like Annie Wynn, great competitor herself. She was quick on it. She was. It was like 3 minutes after it happened, where I was in the warm up room, and at that point, I kind of like I lost a little bit of focus because I was just like, if I bomb out because of this is gonna be bad. Like I'm gonna be very upset. And no one in the back would like make eye contact with me because I think they could tell I was mad and embarrassed. They could tell I was healthy though, so that was good. But I saw her thing and it was the Mario when Mario dies in the game and he put that over it and I'm like, I hate you so much. And I reposted on my story because like immediately when it happened, like 3 people made memes about it already. So
Great.
yeah. Yeah, good thing I cleaned it up on my second. That was nice. And technically speaking, best meet of my life.
Yeah. It really was the best meeting of your life. And we talked about this too, that like technically, Kristen, what's your opinion? That lift should have counted? Because
What's
when
that?
that his lift when he fell backwards, like should it have counted? Like he never let go of the bar.
Oh yeah, we were
At
talking
all.
about this on the first time. I'm like, because what's the rule? It's like you just have to
Place it
let
down
it
with
down.
control.
You have to
Yeah,
control it on the way down.
Yeah, Steve found it today though. Any foot movement at all. So any with your soles are off the floor, which that definitely happened. My feet definitely
But
came
what
off the
does
floor.
it have to be after the down command? Can you move your feet?
I still think you have to control it to the floor with your feet on the floor. I did not do that.
Okay.
I think it's a yellow card. Yeah, I know. I mean, because it'll be great if it happened. I mean, would it be great? But if it happened again to someone, and like it's like their third deadlift or something, and then they get like a 2 white light lift because they fell
Then you could
backwards.
just see everyone just like for shits and giggles, just
No.
going backwards, just as like I'm gonna get
I don't think you would see it.
I wouldn't recommend people doing that because that was the force of like seven. Because I mean, yeah, it was over 700 pounds. The force of it like stapling me was kind of a feeling. But then also, you get like the people afterwards, like, why isn't there a back spotter? I'm like, this is a circumstance where the back spotter would not have done anything and probably would have led to a more of an injury.
It would
Because
have
if they
been
kept my
worse.
balance,
Actually, yeah.
I probably would have like tried to plant myself and
He
do
would have tried to
something. I
catch
mean,
you, right?
yeah.
And then, it falls back and it probably would have hit you.
Yeah.
I think having a back spotter in that case would have been worse.
Or I just shift my body and I like anything because you want your arms to be completely straight. You want everything to be just like in its place. Like that could tear a bicep. That could tear that can just do a whole lot of damage. So yeah, good thing of the back spot are not. Those are good for like feints and stuff, but because people thought I fainted too, and I didn't. I lost my balance. Forgot what I was doing for a second.
It happens.
Okay. Well, besides that lift, my favorite lift of the whole meet, for sure, hands down. Did either of you think that Joe would actually surpass the national record at this meet?
No, I'm gonna be honest. No, I didn't. I thought he was gonna get pretty close to it, and I don't know. Like, if you say 860, I think I'm like, yeah, he would hit it, but he had to go 865. So that's clearing the national record or the unofficial national record by quite a bit. So, like, yeah, just going that much above it, I thought he had the potential to hit 860. But at the same time, like when he loaded up 360, I'm like, that's further out of his range than I thought. I thought his range was 355 on the day just by looking at his training. And so, yeah, 360 was there obviously because he had a very clean pull, and yeah, surprised me. That was a very, very shocking moment from the meet.
Is the national records actually higher than the world, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
by a significant amount.
By
Yeah.
15 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that he got the national record is, I mean, he has the world record. Like he could potentially be world champion 2025.
Yeah, and he's kind of
Maybe.
growing into the weight class too, where it's like Russ, I think kind of the back-to-back meets and how big he is might have hurt him a little bit. It's kind of speculation. That's what me, Solana, Steve kind of came to the conclusion on with our Worlds recap. Joe is not a person that's going to affect it. Actually, it's not going to affect him at all because he got hurt at junior nationals and came back into this. So
Yes.
like you can make a definite claim, even though I'm kind of the guy like, if you got to win worlds in order for me to like say like you're the best in the world, or you got to do something like this type of meet, like if you call him the best in the world, I have no arguments against it. Like I will still, I'm like, you got to face people head to head, but yeah, if somebody says Joe Bornstein's the best 83 kilo lifter in the world, I'd be like, okay, I'm not really arguing against you on this one.
Yeah.
I hear that. I think it's obvious because I didn't pick him to win that I did not think he would go above the record. I thought, yeah, on his absolute best day, he would grind out hitting 860 around the dot. So that was so incredible. And we talked about this before, Angelo. Like that last deadlift, like he built it up. Like the way it got up was like, I can't even describe it because it wasn't like a slow grind. It was just like the way he did. I could tell it was like, this is all my heart and soul in this deadlift.
It was so slow. That was because I was fully in tune to that lift. It was so slow coming off the floor. Like just looking at it, and he kind of got out of position too. And it seemed like, yeah, he just pulled all he can just to lock out. Like it was, I mean, and he stayed with position the entire time, but I like there was a point where I'm like, he's not going to get that. And then he just kind of willed it up at the end. Really, it's the first time I've ever seen him deadlift in person. Yeah, because every time we competed with each other, actually, we did share a warm-up room before. He was I wonder if he's gonna get mad if I share this. His warm-ups were taking a little bit long, and it was kind of upsetting some people. Not when we're at the Arnold. I didn't warm up with him this time, but I didn't care personally. I am like, whatever. Like it's not gonna really mess up the timing of anything. But yeah, we warmed up together at the Arnold. But yeah, I just never really. And he was a much different lifter then than he is now, and he was number 4 that day at the pro finals. So like still very, very, very good. Just now he's a different lifter.
And he's he's 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he's
amazing.
Very young. So
yeah, there's a lot that he has. Like, I mean, he has so much more room. But also, like with this meet, it was proximity to American records. And then, like when you kind of take a look back at it, because Pete sent me the results and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, you're top 50 all time now on dots." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Like man and female, which is pretty cool. And then I looked, I'm like, "I'm number 50." I'm like, "Oh, all right." Like I'm exactly number 50. I'm like, it'd be cool if I was like 48, but number 50 exactly. It's like, and he had just made the list. But you look though at the meet, and it's not. It's like, oh, okay, I got 7th proximity to American records, but based on formula, it's like I got 5th. It's like this meet too doesn't do something justice because 83 kilo is 20 kilos above, or it was 15 kilos above the American record, above the world record. So it's like all these guys, like Chris Perez too. I really do think Chris Perez has a world champion in his future, just because he's also young. Like he was a junior national champion, and It's like you have tons of room to grow too. It's like, but also you are pretty much at a world record. Like he has, I'm older. He just has a lot more years to grow into this too.
How old is Kris?
He's got to be like 25.
It's the facial
He won
hair.
junior primetime at Vegas.
Wow. Yeah, it's the facial hair. I thought he was like
Yeah.
28.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does sneak up on you on how young he is.
Like I thought y'all about the same age. I have no idea.
Yeah, we kind of have the same look too. When I have because he wears a cowboy hat too and a cowboy stuff now. So like, because at Reno we kind of dress the same for weigh-ins.
That's funny.
I was very different with the facial hair, but yeah, I like looking at the cowboy boots on. He had the area cowboy, like we both wear the same brand cowboy boots. He had the buckle. Like, oh, we actually kind of look alike.
What's a good brand for cowboy boots? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I like Ariat.
Online.
Those are right. Ariat, yeah. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. I want to say it's Ariat.
Ariat?
Yeah, Ariat.
Are you like looking up the boots right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You got a
totally off topic. I was just curious.
do you have like a cowboy thing that you're gonna lean into? They're going to a country concert. Everyone loves doing that.
Yeah, that's like the thing now is like country cowboy cowgirl look is like the cool look right now. So
You don't even need to be into it. Every girl I know fucking loves wearing cowboy boots with short shorts. Doesn't even matter. It's like I don't like country. I don't like any of this. But cowboy boots and short shorts, like yes, like I think every guy likes cowboy boots with the boot cut shorts, or not the boot cut shorts, the boot cut pants. But girls love it. It's like,
yeah,
be totally not your style. Like I will wear that tonight.
Well, Kristen, you can pull it off. I cannot wear that because I have very small calves, and there's no world where cowboy boots will look good. Yeah, but it just won't look good.
No, do it.
Every tall boot I've ever tried doesn't look good unless it's like a really skinny, like form-fitting tall boot.
You know, I have problems getting boots, like not boots, but like some boots don't work on me. Like I can't get the boots up and to zip my calves.
Yeah, because you have big calves, which is why you look great in cowboy boots, and why I will not look good.
Cowboy boots are different though. You don't zip.
They get wide up top? They don't zip, but they
I
get
know
wide
for
up top.
guys, I mean for women it's different. They style it for different people.
Not me looking at cowboy boots.
I'm telling you, you get it. Or just look at them because they are different from men.
You know what?
When Perk wore him with his short shorts, I'm like, you look ridiculous.
He did.
Don't ever
that game. Oh my god!
Like, don't ever wear that again. Like, just wear the boot cut jeans and you're good.
You know what? I lied. They're totally straight going up. For
I know.
You are, yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. Okay. I don't think there's especially in powerlifting, I don't think there's a woman in this sport that wouldn't look good. Just
the list, yeah.
That's why you wear short shorts so you can show off your leg muscles.
Yeah, no, you're
and then you wear a cutoff shirt.
All right, let me go shopping this afternoon.
Hey,
get the look.
It's one night out. Everyone loves it.
So, you know what? I'll get tickets for Beyonce. Boom. That's all I gotta do.
Yeah, even Beyonce leaned into the trend.
I mean, she kind of not leaned in. She made it 10 times better. I'm like, it was already popular, and now everyone, period. Like, it was already a huge thing.
Better?
No, she made the look better. Like, now I feel like I can wear it. You know what I mean? Like, wait.
Literally, no. Every woman in the world can look good. It's not even. There's no. Meg Thee Stallion. Put her in that.
Well, her butt's huge. Can be great.
It doesn't matter.
There's a Boots in the Park concert in September in San Diego. So I even got my country boots. My concert, I can wear my boots too.
I'm proud of you. Okay, we're gonna move on now. Okay. Cowboy boots. We talked a lot about cowboy boots. We did. That was a little too long. I will be buying some now, though. I will post them for y'all to see at this point, since you're probably very invested in my cowboy boots. we got to see D. Celine Crum have the day of her life. And I still say it was not shocking because she's known for being a 9 for 9 lifter. The only thing that was shocking is when she didn't go 9 for 9 at Pele Nationals. But for her to improve so much in that time, going up a weight class, I'm so excited to see her because both the champions of this meet both have so much room to grow in their weight classes. And they're both like just on a ridiculous trajectory right now. So it was amazing. Like, and watching her last squat, like that was such a big PR. I think it was like 12.5 kilos. I think, or 10, 12 and a half. And it was like a second attempt. I was like, what just happened? Like, what did I just witness? Like, she had like 7.5 more, I think. Because she can grind. That's the thing. So I'm like, you had like 7.5 kilos in you.
Yeah. She's strong. It'll be interesting. And she was, I think she only weighed in at like 67.
67.2 kilos.
Yeah. So she's, I mean, she has room to grow into the weight class. So it'll be interesting to see how she does. She's another one that will be interesting over the next 8 months to see how she progresses.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with this sport, though. It's like it's so recency bias heavy. It's like Celine has one down meet at Power America Nationals, very hard meet, just to do. I mean, you're going against Meg Scanlon, so one down meet, and then people are not talking about her as much. And it's like prior to that, she's had only success. National champion, got that pro card at the Arnold. She has like all these accolades, and then you have one down meet, and like people are just like, okay, whatever. We're just gonna focus on other things now. And like, oh no, you're still a good lifter if you have one down meet. Like it just doesn't go away really unless you really snap yourself up or you do the incorrect thing or be stubborn with it and just don't, change certain things. Looks like they made to the conclusion that a weight class above is the option, and boom, one meet now, and then it's like, okay, all of a sudden she's right in that picture for 69 kilos, and she can build momentum up to that and know that she hits lifts, know that that squat is going to continuously build because, like you said, Solana, she can grind a lift. That was one of the first times I've seen one of her lifts just be like so absolutely clean third attempt. I mean, she's the reason why she's able to grind is because she stays in position. That's the reason why she's able to hit these lifts. And yeah, like that's a lot of good things to see, or a lot of good things we saw, but a lot of good things that are gonna happen with her. Very excited for it.
Yeah.
And she's jacked too.
Right?
I was bringing up on 2 white lights of like when somebody goes up a weight class and it's like they don't look uncomfortable, because occasionally that does happen. More on the male side, I would say, like for a bit. Like when Jamar moved up to 93 the first time, or to 90 technically. I'm like, his deadlift is gonna possibly suffer as a result because he just has a lot of quad. And he had a lot of quad at 83, and then at 90, he's gonna have more quad. So it's gonna be hard to deadlift around that. Like seeing her, like, she's gonna be able to do this well. Like this weight gain is not going to mess with her leverages.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think one thing I love was that the strength guys posted all the changes they made to her training going into this meet, because that's always super interesting. And my favorite part of that was that, like, Celine is definitely known, in my opinion, she's known for that rip and grip deadlift, where, like, it's more rounded back. Remember that Steffi Cohen post that like went off? Yeah. Like, she's known for like the rounded back deadlift. And I did notice at National, I feel like she's trying to slightly change the position, maybe I'm tripping. So when they said like, oh, they basically let her go back to rip and grip, I was like, oh, she did change it, because I was like, she's known for like she can just get in that round back position, but she can just pull it. Doesn't matter. And she's just an anomaly in that way, where it's like not everyone's gonna have that form that you think it has to be to like hit a max effort lift like that. But for certain people, it works. As long as you keep the same position the whole time, it works.
Well, I think people are like adaptable. Like, so she's practiced that position. She didn't just one day show up and try to max out and then her back rounds. Like that's just how she is trained. So I wouldn't recommend it for, majority of people, but Celine, that's just her position. She's trained that way. I mean, she's adapted to it. So I think, yeah, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. And she's one of those where like she doesn't have pain that I'm aware of. she's obviously a good puller, and she's obviously a stronger puller with a slightly rounded back. In that case, you know, are you going to tell her not to do it if it's going to cause her to lose kilos on the platform?
Yeah, I mean, another example is that is Pana. Like,
Oh yeah,
he's another, but he's the grind king, right? And he's the grind king because he stays in position. The rounded back thing is overrated. Of
Oh,
like
100%.
he deadlift with the rounded back. Like a lot of us end up even with a good sumo pull. Like I do have a rounded back on some of my sumo pulls when I'm going to max effort. And John actually talked to me that before this meet because he brought up a couple other examples, like the Virginia Pro when I pulled 771. That was the ugliest deadlift in my career. Like not even close. It was such like I'm pulling this point A to point B. No matter how I get there, I got to get it up, and that's what happened. But the reason why I was able to grind through that lift is because I was able to stay over midfoot. I was able to distribute my weight properly, and that's really what it is. I've seen ugly squat form, terrible looking squat form. But then if you take a side angle of it, I'm like, that bar was over your midfoot the entire time. It's like that. I don't know like what was going on. Your stance is super wide. It's super ugly to look at. But if you look at the side, it's a straight up in line pattern on your midfoot. It's all you need. Like maybe your depth is going to be like hurt a little bit or maybe some other things. But as long as that stays over midfoot, you'll be fine.
Fortunately, they don't judge us on having pretty form as long as we stay within the guidelines, because they feel like we'd all be screwed.
And this is why Angelo's the coach and we are not in this podcast. That's why Angelo's the coach.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's well, I mean, like coaching, like I coach high school powerlifters, and that's
you do
kind of the thing. It's like you could see right away, like, oh, you guys are going to lift differently. Like they're starting off at all of them are starting off at 0. Like, but like you clearly have a different way of lifting other people than like they see another person like, wait, do my feet need to be shoulder width apart? I'm like, no. If you don't need to squat shoulder width apart, don't squat shoulder width apart. If you like to squat narrow, squat narrow. I had students like, I like sumo, but like I feel like my conventional is better. I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's check out your conventional. And then I'm like, yeah, if you feel more comfortable and I'm like, it does look like a more efficient thing, then stick with it. So yeah, it's just, I mean, even my rudimentary experience coaching, like, yeah, people lift a weight different. I remember Celine got flamed for a while on like, she went viral.
It was a Steffi
because
Cohen post.
Wait,
Yeah.
did Steffi post because Steffi? All right, Steffi Cohen sucks. But this like is Steffi? Did she post it like making fun of Celine?
No, she was a good thing. She was posting it in a good way, like talking about why that position works for her. But then people were flaming her like bad in the comments. But that was ridiculous.
You know, it is one of those powerlifting things where social media is filled, especially fitness social media is filled with guys who suck. I don't know how to describe it. Douchebags. Douchebags. And it's like it doesn't really make its way on the guys' posts. Like nobody is on my post saying something about one of my lifts. Then a female does it, and it's like it's never females doing it either. It's like on occasion you see one female, but it's usually a gym bro who are saying these things, and that's why we have bench depth at IPF. It wasn't because of the guys. It was mostly like girls have to put their page private, or they have like private like lifting pages, so guys wouldn't make fun of their bench depth.
Yeah, I think men just hate strong. Well, not all men. I think some guys just hate strong women. I think so. They go online, they're just pissed off. How dare you lift that? Well, your back is arched. Like,
and you must be on a lot of drugs because there's no way that you could lift more than me and be a woman and do it.
Well, you pulled sumo as a girl.
Oh yeah, sumo's cheating. And then you know what I love is the sumo is cheating argument. And not that I have anything against like a deadlift bar, but like a deadlift bar like reduces the range of motion, right? And that's like a big argument with the sumo. And I'm like, what do you think a deadlift bar does?
There's no way anyone who's arguing about sumo cheating has any idea of like
No.
parts. That's like they're like, wait, what? And then it just like their mind is just completely warped.
Like, what's a deadlift bar? You mean I've been squatting with a deadlift bar this whole time?
yeah, I mean, yeah. If someone comments anything on sumo, like with what I post, like they're not even, because I like to be a smartass on social media, but I'm like, they're not getting any of that. Like they're not getting my attention. It's just so low level kind of debating.
I've learned not to argue with people because number one, they probably want you to just to provoke you and piss you off even more. Or they're just so dumb that no matter what you tell them, they're not going to believe you anyway, or they're just, it's going to go over their head. So it's like not even worth it.
Yeah.
So I just,
that's why the 1-word responses are always good. Like if you give like a 1-word or 2-word response, it makes them mad because you're not engaging that much, but you're still engaging them and still making them look stupid.
Yeah.
You're the king of that.
Response when you like to piss someone off, what is it?
Well, it depends on what they say. I mean, the big one, and this isn't like an insult because they're asking me for help, but it's like, how do you do your sumo deadlift? I'd be like, move your feet closer. And it's like, that one. That's because I was like, how do you do a setup on your sumo deadlift? I'm like, you're asking me like it's a different deadlift. It's not a different deadlift. It's the same deadlift. My feet are just closer. It's not, I'm not going to tell you anything different. So the response is move your feet closer and deadlift how a normal person would deadlift, and you'll be fine. One person got really pissed off at me because they asked how I work on grip strength, and I'm like, don't use straps. And they got mad because they thought I was being a smartass, and I'm like, don't know. That's how you work on your grip strength. You don't use straps. And I just kept responding like,
don't use straps.
Like, and they're like, it's like, this is a really simple question. You have to be a smartass, and I'm like, this is my response is don't use straps. I'm like, try it. I don't know. I would say like, try it. It'll work. And yeah, that person got really mad because I think they thought I went on their page and looked at all their deadlifts with straps, and I didn't do that. I just told them straps, and that was it.
Were they deadlifting in straps?
Yeah, when I went on their page, I didn't. I'm like, I think they thought that like I was insulting them. No, just don't.
But it probably would help. I mean, if that's all they're doing,
that's what we're saying.
Straps on, like that would be the okay, deadlift without straps. That will help.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, well, because I remember Steve had the thing of like just deadlift tutorial things, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter where you put your feet on deadlifts. Like if you want to, like, don't deadlift narrow if you think, or because you see me do it.
Oh, like the more like a hybrid kind of.
Yeah, like, why would you think that's going to work for you?
Because people like to just emulate people and copy them. I tried, not because of you. At one point, I tried a more narrow deadlift stance. That lasted like 2 blocks. That was bad. Like, but my deadlift just felt like dog poop. So I was trying everything and anything, and that did not fix it. But some people just think, oh, if I copy this person because they're strong, like you are a national record holder deadlifter. Like if I copy him exactly, I will then become a national record deadlift holder. That's the
only reason that you're strong, Angelo, is because you have a narrow sumo stance. That's it.
That's it. The second, if you went a half inch wider, you would lose all your strength. Like Samson when they cut his hair off, same thing.
Yeah, I have contemplated like going wider. I just don't know if my hips are able to do it. Because there's certain things in my deadlift, because me and John after meet, we're talking about like cleaning up my lockout, and we're talking about moving my grip in a little bit on deadlifts, and I'm like, that could come at cost with my grip because I would be like pretty much all my entire hand almost on the boot. So I'm like, maybe if I widen it, it's going to reduce the range of motion, but at the same time, it's like how much you want to play around with a change in stance and then mess up a movement pattern as opposed to making a very slight change. That's kind of the interesting part of powerlifting that a lot of people see, are like those decisions. those little things.
Yeah. I see it with like Leah, for example, right? Who has that like super, super narrow stance squat where her knees like sometimes like will literally start touching. And then yeah, it's like, is everyone who's if they squat like her is gonna just automatically squat 220, you know?
Oh, yeah, a good example of that was Amanda Lawrence too, and I had her on the show. I think we put her as like best lifter of the year or something. I don't know what happened exactly. Oh no, we when Two White Lights did our lifter ratings, and then
Yeah.
somebody commented like, "Well, her technique is horrible and all this," and
About Amanda?
like this is yeah, like Amanda Lawrence is. I mean, no denying how strong she is. Like from this person, this
Yeah.
her technique is terrible, and you shouldn't emulate her. And then I'm like, this is, and the comment I made, I'm like, and like in other news, local high school quarterback tells Tom Brady his throwing motion sucks. like, like you saying this to someone like they throw funny. It's like they're in the major leagues. They're in the highest level. Like it doesn't matter what it looks like is clearly working. Like it,
Like
I don't even know. Yeah, no one's saying to that.
like Usain Bolt, I think the way that he sprints is very unconventional. Like that's not how you would teach someone how to sprint. But this is, like he's the best sprinter in the world. Are you gonna be like, oh, you suck?
Yeah. There's someone who probably said that.
Probably, I'm sure. But
This person was dead serious about Amanda Lawrence. And I've seen it before, like you have comments from like these people like because I follow a lot of sports like pages of like Tom Brady wasn't a great example, like Phillip Rivers. Like Phillip Rivers, NFL quarterback, he was all pro, probably gonna be a Hall of Famer. He threw funny. Like his throwing motion was weird. And people would criticize him for that. It's like this guy cannot be any more successful in this thing that he played. Like, no, there's 32 teams and they have 32 quarterbacks. And he's one of them, but he's better than 28 of the quarterbacks. It's like of all the people who've ever played football, he's one of 32 and he's better than still like that 32. And you have some schmuck who's, probably, a 3-year JV player telling them that, his throwing motion's bad.
And her technique isn't even that bad. I mean, like she has an inward knee movement, which is very common. And I think I actually did like a little post about it of why that happens for some people and why it's like a mechanical advantage to have that inward knee movement. And so maybe it's not aesthetically pleasing, perfect knees over toes squat, but like, who cares, people are fun.
But it's always the new person who's know what we're talking about. Because like even for me, when I get new athletes who are newer to the sport in general, they typically ask me like, hey, my knees cave in, how do we fix it? And I'm like, well, you've been getting stronger for the past 5 months and I'm not going to change it. Like nothing has happened besides the fact that someone pointed out that your right knee goes in, but everything's going great.
So. Yeah, well, that I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I started working with Joe, that was me of like, I've noticed like my right foot is a little bit more pointed out than my left on squat, and Joe was like, we can do things to fix it, but it's like your squat's moving very well right now. Now, if it becomes a thing where you're hesitant to, like you're hesitant to get into the hole or coming out of the hole, and your positioning's getting messed up, then we'll make some changes. But we're not making changes until something is in your technique is not helping you accomplish the movement in its entirety. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, that makes things a whole lot easier for coaches and athletes when you realize that.
When you have to think we're not symmetrical beings either. And this is something I think a lot of people don't realize too, is when, you're talking about lifting and it's like, oh, well, your hips shifted to the left and your anterior pelvic tilt and all this like twisted and, you're just messed up. And like, in reality, it's like, I mean, between left and right, we're not the same. I mean, if we're like, I'm left-handed, right? Like my right hand cannot do the same thing that my left hand can. And it doesn't mean that my right hand is messed up, right? It's just different, and it's kind of the same thing. And I mean, again, it's like, maybe, yeah, do you want your feet to be the same? But as long as there's no like pain, I don't think it's a huge concern. Or at least not to the extent that people try to make it seem, where it's like, oh my God, your hip shifted to the left, you're gonna die and be broken. Like, it's fine.
Real quick, do you remember what PRI is, Kristen? I don't know if Angela know what it is.
PRIS?
No, PRI. Remember
No.
Postural Restoration Institute?
Yes. I
Yeah.
do, but I don't, but I've heard of it. Yes.
Oh, okay. I feel like this happened like maybe 6 years ago. A lot of coaches went down a PRI hole, and Postural Restoration Institute is all about like being like getting your body in like basically the best position possible to succeed in life, right? Which is horrible. So I think it's like terrible. So really, overall, it's about trying to get yourself pretty much as close to symmetrical as possible. That's how I took it. Because like if you have a slight hip shift, you would be blowing on the floor. You'd be on the floor sideline with the helium balloon, like trying to blow into the balloon and get your body to shift one way. Like, and all of a sudden, a lot of coaches start. Remember the balloons? Who used to blow into? Did you ever see that? People blew into balloons.
No. Yeah, now I know.
PRI. It made me lose my mind. My old coach was Ellis Lay. He got heavy into PRI, and he was my coach going into Worlds and everything. And he was great because I was dealing with the injury, but it was so focused on like getting your body in the right position for you squatting. I would spend half an hour warming up, lying on the floor just to feel not warmed up. I didn't lift a single weight yet. I just whirled around the floor just to get my body and my hip to be the perfect, because the left side was slightly up.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I mean, this is that a couple of years ago, that lifter A, lifter B thing, right? With squat.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
And they were kings of that stuff, of like overcomplicating everything. And I think just posting things just to post. But I remember I wasn't even powerlifting. I was doing like powerlifting movements. I was still following my powerlifting program. This is like right when I was about to start competing. When I was like doing PH3, like nonstop. And I went to a commercial gym, and me and my friend, who both started PH3 at the same time, we're both doing it together. The personal trainers there, we called them movement bros. Like they were arrogant about like them squatting 95 pounds perfectly. Like they had this thing of like trying to like symmetrically squat and do these things, do these movements perfectly, and then we're like, dude, you're squatting 100 pounds. Like, we don't care. Like, it's like, and then because him and I would squat. He was above me. He was like way over 500 pounds on his squat. I was like in the high 4s at the time, and they would like say things like, have you thought about? Like, no, like we're not doing this. My squat is not going to look perfect with 500 pounds. Your squat's going to look fine because you're pretty much doing the bar. And it would, and like that would be, and they were like, you're a meathead, but you're a meathead who isn't strong. It's a very strange dichotomy of like meathead.
Yeah, I think it created a lot of like unnecessary fear too. So it's like people who like not lifting because they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna like hurt my back and I can't, the rounded back, that whole like everyone talking smack about having a rounded back. And I mean, a lot of times like people have back pain and they don't even lift, so it's like, if I'm gonna have pain, right, I'd rather have it because I'm just strong as fuck and I lift weights, as opposed to I just do nothing all day because I'm afraid to lift and I still have back pain. You're gonna have back pain like either way. So you might as well just be strong and have back pain. Like, I don't think it's necessarily related to lifting a lot of the time. I think it just at some point like it's just a part of life,
Yeah.
Well, I think him and I would always make the joke because we both played high school football together. Yeah. And it was like, we see like guys who lift weights collegiately or in the NFL, and like we see their technique, and it's not perfect in the weight room. But then you have a movement bro like go up to him and say like, "This is what you got to do." And like, okay, these guys are able to shift 300 pounds of their own weights, and then also shift 300 pounds of another person's weight, and they're able to move laterally at a degree that nobody thought possible. And it's like, oh, your
On one
technique
foot.
on your squat. Like, I don't think that's, and I'm like, and they're not dying like while they do this stuff. I mean, they get hurt, but that's because they're laterally moving all that weight, and then somebody is also hitting them at the same time. And I'm like, I think it's okay if there's a bit of a hip shift on their squats, or they have an uneven bench press, or the way they do box jumps could be. I think all that's good because they're performing
They're
at a level that's not like people didn't think possible.
Yeah.
That's
So,
good
good
point.
talk.
My last thing I will say about that is just know I was scared of any sort of anterior pelvic tilt for about 3 years. Like, I mean, bending over to tie my shoe. I was like, and crunch and tilt. And because I was so scared. I mean, my
Up the
coach,
groceries,
my
and you gotta
coach
like
talked about it.
squat.
Yeah.
You can't hinge at the hips because you're gonna hurt your back. You gotta squat down and pick up them groceries.
Well,
Yes.
what I need a movement coach for is how to sleep. I sleep like such an idiot. I hurt myself sleeping way more than hurt myself lifting. Like I wake up, like my arm is like behind my head, and then I'm like up and like I have unbelievable elbow pain. I'm like, what just happened in my sleep? Like, what did I do in my sleep to hurt? And I'm like, am I gonna be able to lift today? Because I slept incorrectly. Because God can tell me how to
the right
sleep.
pillow.
You wake up and your arm's numb and you have to like
Every day. I be waking up and like what's worse?
arm is like I have to like get the blood flowing because it's just like I've been sleeping on it, so it's like I can't move. I'm like, wake up.
You know what's worse? My orange menace of a cat, like he likes to lick me in my sleep. So and I'm very aggressive. I punch him and like throw him off the bed, like physically throw him off the bed. So he will get on the bed when my arm is numb. I will when my arm is numb, I'll wake up and he has been licking my elbow for I don't know how long. He's just there in my and I'm like, oh my God, how long have you been here? I can't feel my arm. How long have you been here?
Yeah, the amount of pain I have. Sometimes I just know I'm sleeping stupid too, and I'm just too tired to like adjust, or I'm just like in that spot where I'm like such a comfy spot, but I just know that something's wrong with how I'm sleeping, and I'm gonna be like stuck in this position for a while, and then I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna take me like 2 hours to feel normal.
Oh my God. That's never happened to me too. No, I think that's really intense. Maybe you need to change your pillows. I'll probably fix
I'm
it.
a bad sleeper. I've been told that I don't know how to sleep, or I'm just aggressive in my sleep, just like rolling over covers, that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I go hard in the paint when I sleep. Just apparently a lot of aggression, or like hugging something.
Hugging?
Like hugging, like because I like to hug pillows. So if I have
I hug pillows, like a body pillow.
My pillow.
Heck yeah.
And then it's like apparently it's not as comfy as it's not as comfy for them as it is to me.
I love hugging pillows and
The pillow's durable as hell. I mean, it's just gonna a human being.
Not
not. So, yeah.
Well, any other highlights you want to talk about? I will say, as someone who just spectated Raleigh, very well done. Like very efficiently run, good pacing, and I just at the entire time I was entertained because there was so much cheering. It was a chill environment. I liked the vibe of it. Like everyone was just like, happy, and I don't know. It was just a fun time. But also towards the end of it, I was super happy with like how SBD has their own little like it's like Listen Cast, but like you have to like go off the regular Listen Cast website to see the points and everything because you can follow it. You can see like who is forecasted in terms of how close they are to the record. And I love how easy they make it to follow from their audience. I'm like, oh, I can see who's gonna win. Like I was just so happy that they made it easy. So
yeah, I was using her head as depth.
Yeah, you said that.
For the first time. Solano was right in center, and there was the blue rope to separate the crowd and the thing. And Solano was in front, so I was able to use her head as depth. Like if I could get Solano's head below that blue line, I think I'm getting depth. And yeah, like my third one, I was slowing down. I was really tempoing the squat. And then when I saw it, I'm like, I'm just gonna dip a little bit more. And yeah, it's not a foolproof system, but it works. And that was all I like. That was all I saw. I don't know. I don't know about you, Kristen. Like, when you compete, do you see anything?
No,
Okay.
I literally just hope for the best.
Have you ever tried to like see?
No, yeah, I mean, I pretty much, well, I don't want to look at anyone because like if you make like eye contact with the judge or I don't know, something, it's just like weird. And I don't want to do that when I'm competing. So I just look into the abyss. And then just hope for the best that I hit depth. But I would like to think that, in training, if I'm consistently hitting depth, that come meet day, that I'm hopefully still hitting depth. So it's not really a concern. Yeah, but I haven't heard that before, so I might have to use that the next competition.
Good thing I didn't stand up or anything.
What's up?
Good thing I didn't like stand up or anything, like during the spot, like, come on,
You're like,
just move my head around.
Oh, and it just throws me off completely. I just
Yeah.
like,
or if she just like keeps continually to sink into her chair.
yeah, just her, yeah, with her
Angela
phone.
just like keeps going lower and lower.
Oh god, yeah, that would have been actually bad because I was like kind of in line with it the entire time. Yeah, I was like, yeah, and that's kind of the cue that John has that I think I've been telling it to my students and it works. Just put your eyes on something. And the depth thing is kind of my thing of like, okay, if I'm putting my eyes on something, that means I have a bit of a vantage point. So I can get one thing below it or something. Works in the gym, works in competition. But yeah, like I'm kind of the same way, Kristen, as far as like in competition, especially big ones. Like I try not to look at anything. I'm usually pretty focused. There was one time, it was the Grand Prix, the first time I ever competed at the Grand Prix on the main stage. I'm like, I have to take this in. Like, I gotta really look at this because the first Arnold I ever been to, I remember like seeing USAPL on the main stage and seeing all these people, and I'm like, that would be so cool to compete at that one day. And then I did, and I'm like, I can't. I gotta look at this. Like, I gotta look at everything. I gotta take a little bit of a moment. And I did note it. Like, I remember I saw Perk.
Oh yeah.
I saw Perk in particular. I was looking for my then girlfriend, but I just saw Perk, and I just kept on and I kept on seeing him. And I just remember I hit my squat, and then he's like, "Blow a kiss, blow a kiss," and I blew a kiss to him. And then I saw him like freak out and like, yeah, he's like, "Oh, you did it!"
Oh my God.
And yeah, that was the one time I really looked into the audience. Like the other times, Powerlifting America Nationals, that was kind of awkward because there wasn't that many people, and I couldn't look into the abyss because there were so few people, and I just felt like I was squatting in like an empty room almost, or like it was so quiet in the room, the music wasn't loud. Like I didn't notice a whole lot.
Or this year?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't there at this one, but the first 2022, I remember it was just like a bright lit room in, like the convention center or whatever it was. But yeah, it wasn't a lot of people and it was just bright.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was hard to just like not focus on something because they had the VIP tables. And I just felt like I was looking at someone who just didn't care about my lifts.
Yeah.
They're just like, like that meet, I heard a baby crying. And I'm like, oh man, like this is different. I haven't felt this in a while.
Yeah. Oh my God. I tripped on my third attempt on squat walking up to the platform. I don't know if anyone noticed because it was like very subtle and I like caught myself. It wasn't enough where I like face planted, but I'm like in the zone and I'm like walking to the platform and then like I tripped a little bit and then it kind of like threw me off guard. And then it was like, I hope no one noticed.
As long as you didn't fall on your back during a deadlift, no one saw anything about you.
If they did notice, I would have immediately just wiped that from their memory.
Exactly. So you were fine. But okay, guys, you know how sometimes like during that meet, like the music would stop, but like the stop was like 5 full seconds. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Maybe you didn't. But have you ever been competing and the music stops and you're like, please don't fart. Like, please don't fart. Like, that's all I think about when I'm squatting. I'm like, oh my God, there's no music. Please don't let me fart.
No one's gonna hear it, Solana.
Yes, they would. No
No, they
music at
won't. That's
all.
insanity. They're not
It was
that
like
quiet
so
in there.
quiet.
It looks like a
Yes,
little
it was. When they say
Solana,
squat, no
I
one's making any
pee
noise.
on the platform. No
Okay,
one
so
can
does
shit
half
if
of
you fart,
America.
okay?
Half the world competes on platform. I'm talking about farting.
No,
Okay? It's a
Half
whole
the
thing.
world farts too. It's fine. Everyone in the world farts.
Not right when the person says squat and it's pitch quiet because everyone's like letting you squat.
But the thing is, like, I don't know, like I've heard it in the gym before.
Oh, for sure.
Like I've heard it in the gym, like people squatting, and I don't know. It's like one of those. It's such a quick thing that nobody cared. Now, granted, it wasn't a female. Like I guess maybe they'll care if like a female did it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I honestly think maybe the spotters and loaders will hear it. I do not think the crowd will hear it. That'll be loud if they did.
I just feel like it's super quiet, and when the music stops, it's the worst thing ever because all I think about every time.
I just don't like it when it gets quiet. Like when it gets that 5 seconds of just complete silence. And
When you hear the baby crying, you're like,
Yeah.
shit.
That's just like, yeah, just a weird alone feeling. Like when that happens. Like even so I guess like IPF, something I wouldn't mind would be like if it's silent, but then like the crowd is kind of like cheering you up as you squat. Like that's good. But like complete silence, it's even in the gym though, like if you're in a gym that's not too loud, like and you're getting a big squat, like people are around you like at least like screaming up or something, or like let's go.
Yeah. I hear my knees.
Oh
more
yeah.
than I'll ever hear. Like whenever I'm squatting without music, all I hear is my knees crunching, and that's all I hear.
Yeah. My spotters hear that all the time.
I hear my knees throughout the day.
Usually.
I hear my knees throughout the day. This is the popping, cracking and popping.
Well, Solana, you're younger than us, right? Are
I'm
we
younger.
I'm 34. How old are you?
I'm 31.
I'm 28.
God.
Right, so yeah,
but
30s.
I get work done so I can look like I'm 28.
Oh, you brought it up. Okay, cool. So right for this podcast, Kristen, she was having.
The reason I was late was because I was getting Botox.
I'm telling you, when I turn 30, I'm getting filler right here. I just need this to.
I just got what is it called? PRF is what it's called, where it's like platelet. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get stuff for my under eye too.
We're gonna be beautiful. You already are. I'm gonna be beautiful.
I'm 35 going on 25.
I don't know. I was gonna say something.
I gotta
that
get
response, not to what you said. I think I had this argument before of like, do you guys do it for yourself or for like, because when a woman's a little aged, doesn't make them not attractive. Just makes them attractive for like oh, you look your age and you're attractive. Like sometimes, I don't know, like a little bit of the age dies a little bit. Like
so
her age dies. He looks great.
I'm a childless cat lady, so I gotta look like I'm a young childless cat lady, if that makes sense.
So
it kind of doesn't. I don't know.
Like, is it because you believe that you need to be married with children to then not need Botox? Like,
oh yeah, because then once I'm married, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You're stuck with me.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Whatever. You're stuck. I can get as ugly as I want.
Oh my god. Divorce rates are high. Just saying. Just saying. For me, I wanted, you know what? My whole life I've been told I look tired when I have bags, and I just have bags. I can sleep 9 hours a night. I have bags. They're just there. So I'm like, I just want them to be gone.
That's another debate I got into recently. Like if I tell a woman that they look tired, they're like, "Oh, thanks for saying I look ugly." I'm like, "Whoa, you're a tired, pretty person." Well, do you think that pretty people just don't get tired? I'm like, you look great, but you look like you need some sleep.
I hate it, but maybe it's because I was like 12.
Huh?
I've been told that since I was like 12 years old, and what they mean is you have big ass bags beneath your eyes. Wow, look at those bags hanging down, and that's what they really mean. That's what indicates it.
Well,
I think-
yeah, I guess it depends because when I say like if I say something like you look tired, it looks like it doesn't look like bags. It looks like their eyes are going to sleep and stuff. So or they just look worn out kind of. It's like I don't know how you think that means you're ugly. That's crazy. That's the craziest thing that they jump to. Like, no, you're still hot. You're just tired. I think to say that, I'm like, you look like a hot, tired person right now, and see where see if that like offsets everything. Like, wait, I just got a compliment, right? Like, I can take the
I've
compliment. I'm
gotten
gonna
that
try.
where I'm like, people are like, you look nice today. I'm like, I put makeup on.
I hear you. I do
was
hear
awesome.
that. But you know what I think it is? I think for me, I've only ever been told I look tired when I have bags and I'm literally not tired because I got 8 hours of sleep. So when I'm told that and
So
I'm not
would be
tired,
different. Yeah. Every time I've told a girl that they look tired, they are tired.
that's different. If I just got off a flight that was 7 hours and I didn't get any sleep and I'm like, you can just tell me to go to bed, I'm not gonna care because I'm actually exhausted. But that's never when I get it. It's always when I'm just ugly and fresh, just fresh and ugly.
Yeah, I never get offended when somebody says I look tired.
But you're a dude.
Yeah, but
I
still,
don't know.
if I'm being called ugly, I still get offended, no matter if I'm a guy or a girl. Like, it doesn't getting called potentially ugly, but I never took like if I look tired as me being ugly. Just means I looks like I need some sleep.
All right. Well, conclusion, I hate it. The end.
Okay, get some, I'm getting PRF on my under eye.
All right. Well, I'll go get some PRF.
Okay,
But I want to ask you how much it costs, but I'll ask you after. How much was it?
200.
How long does it last?
I've never
All
done
right.
it before, so I don't know.
Okay. You will let me know.
I will.
What work will you get done, Angelo?
Would I get done? Probably a damn nose job. My big ass nose.
Really?
Yeah,
I think your nose fits your face.
I know, I like your nose.
I think your nose fits your
Thank you,
face.
both of you. It fits my face because I'm Italian, and yeah. I don't know. You remember that AI craze?
Yeah.
But the AI, like, everyone was doing like, and when AI just started, and everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I'm like, all right. Obviously, I look great in these AI pictures, but the reason why I look great is because the nose is noticeably smaller. And I'm like, if I just get a little bit, would I? Absolutely not. There's no way I'm getting surgery on my face. Like, nope, don't get a knife towards my face at all. Not happening. I'm not changing a thing. But every time like I see like a live stream and then me just turning around, I'm like, oh my god, that's a nose. Look at that one.
Did you get the video or the photos, your lifting photos?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have like veins, just all my videos are just like forehead veins, neck veins. It just,
Wait,
it
did
is
it get
not
you on the
cute.
floor?
What?
So yeah, Marshall got one. It's bad.
Yes!
I can't. I don't know if I can. It just that is a very embarrassing picture. It's me falling back. He sent it to me, I think, within 10 minutes of the meet ending. Because I just got a thing from Marshall, like it just says because I was getting like a lot of messages and stuff, post meet stuff. I think all of us are pretty used to that. So getting a lot of messages, and I just like kind of scrolling through them. But Marshall, like there was one that just says "Love you, bud," and I'm like, oh, thanks. And then I like go through all my messages and like look, and then I'm like, oh, he sent me the picture, and then he's like, glad you're okay, love you, bud. And I'm like, oh, he had to send the picture too, and I'm like, oh, that is not a good picture. None of me on the floor though. It's in the middle of me falling.
Just you falling.
If somebody took a picture of me on the floor, that is so intentional. And like because everyone was concerned, but if like Ben is sitting there just like taking pictures of me on the floor, I would have broke his camera. I would have been so mad. I would have been because I would have saw it. He would have been like, all right.
I think that should be the photo for the podcast photo is just.
Oh my God, can you please give it to me for it, please?
Oh, absolutely not.
Please.
I'll send you.
Both.
There's the one, my second deadlift after like I didn't fall and I made like a little thing like that. That's a pretty funny picture.
Okay, I'll take that.
I will give you that one because it's just like what the hell is going on in on the platform right now? Because it just be like that,
Is
and
it a
like the
pole?
bars there, and yeah, it's just a very stupid picture. Kind of embarrassing, like to look at, because I mean, we all have our images of like what a powerlifting meet looks like, or good images from powerlifting meets. Like that's just such a stupid one. Like this really cool meet, best lifters in the world, and I'm just on a platform like that. It's just like a mime. It's so stupid.
Kris, send me a photo of you, and I'll make the picture of both of you guys.
Well,
Dope. All right, we did it again. We did it, guys.
I think we're good this time.
I mean, I'm so paranoid. I checked the recording button like 17 times during this recording. It's still on, right? Like,
God, I hope so.
we'll give you a live podcast someday at some point in time, y'all. I feel bad. Shout out to both me and Kris' client, Ashley Raposa,
Oh my God.
because she reached out like a few days before Raleigh, like, hey, I can't wait for your live podcast. I'm so excited.
Did you talk to her today?
No, she was just before, and I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, we're recording it this weekend.
I don't want to.
Like,
I'll have to let you know afterwards. But yeah.
okay. All right, cool. Well, guys, thanks for joining. Well, Kris, this is basically your podcast too. Angelo, thank you for joining.
No problem. It was an honor. What did you say?
I said again.
Yeah. So I technically
This is your second one.
have the most. Yeah, I have the most male appearances on this podcast.
Don't
I
see you.
Have beat John Hack and Ray Williams in something.
Yes.
Take that.
So Angelo's the fourth person to ever be on the podcast who is a male. So it's been John Hack, Ray Williams, and then Leo Bonnet when we recapped the first not American Pro. Is it American Pro?
Virginia Pro. It was confusing because the American Pro's in Virginia.
Yes, Virginia Pro. Horrible. I commented it twice. Virginia Pro.
Yes. Oh yeah, and I commentated the American Pro. I always mess that up because it was the time where everyone was calling everything a pro meet.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when everything was called Showdown?
Yes.
And it took 2 years, and everything was called Pro.
And now we're getting some original names. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh no. Now I think we're just getting city names.
Yeah, cities that the meets not actually in.
Yes.
It should have been
SBD
SBD
Durham. Be on the lookout for SBD Durham.
Yes.
It's going to be in Raleigh. Get ready for SBD. It's going to be in Fort Worth, but it's called Dallas. Get ready for let's get ready for SBD Houston. It's actually in Katy. Like,
love it.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Big meets are going to be city names.
I like it.
Is Sheffield in Sheffield, or is it like?
It's in Sheffield.
I think that one.
But is it actually in Sheffield?
It's in Sheffield.
Town away. Okay.
I think like English areas are so small that it's like impossible to like not be in that area.
Yeah.
Like you can't say, like if you say London, it's like, whoa, no, can't.
You're really far away.
London and you're in Manchester. It's impossible. Like you can't do that.
Yeah. That's fair.
All right, y'all. Well, I'll catch you next time on the Power and Lifting Podcast.